champions. I welcome you to another exciting class, and we shall be learning a new and interesting topics. So, we already learned that rocks are hard solid materials made up of minerals, and the minerals are made of elements, and the rocks have different shape, color and sizes. So this time we shall focus on the types of rocks. We shall be looking at the different types of rocks and how each of them are formed, their examples as well as their characteristics. There are three types of rocks. There are generally three types of rocks, and they are igneous rock, sedimentary rock and metamorphic rock. These are the three types of rocks. So the first one we shall look at is the igneous rock. We shall find out more about the igneous rock, how they are formed, and as well as their examples. So igneous rock is a rock that is formed by molten or melted rock that has cooled down and become hardened. Igneous rock are formed from melted rock called magma that become cool and hardened. How are this magma, or how is this magma formed? The earth has different layers which include the crust, the mantle, the outer core and the inner core. Because the core is usually very hot, there can be presence of melted rock found in the outer crust and the mantle, which is called the magma. Magma is the melted rock. So if this magma moves and become cool under the ground, it becomes intrusive igneous rock. But when it comes out of the ground, erupts like a volcano and cools down on the earth's surface, it becomes extrusive igneous rock. So intrusive is magma that cools down under the earth's surface, while extrusive cools down above or on the earth's surface. And because the intrusive igneous rock takes a longer time to cool down, it forms large crystals. But the extrusive rock forms small crystals because it cools down quickly. Examples of igneous rock are andesite, bauxite, diorite, gabbro, tuff, rhyolite, pumice, and so many others. The characteristics of igneous rock is that they do not contain fossils, they do not have layers, they can be fine-grained or coarse-grained, or they can be light-colored. The next we shall look at in this lesson is the sedimentary rock. We shall also find out about how they are formed and their characteristics. Sedimentary rock are formed through the processes of wedging and erosion, deposition, compaction, and cementation. So let's find out more about these processes. Because of rain and wind, or water and wind, the particles become broken down into the rocks become broken down into tiny particles, and these particles move to the bottom of the sea and gather there. This is known as compacting. Thereafter, as they gather, they become cemented together or joined together as other layers come upon them. So because they become pressed together, they form sedimentary rock, and this process is known as cementation. There are three types of sedimentary rocks, and they include the clastic sedimentary rock, organic sedimentary rock, and the chemical sedimentary rock. The clastic sedimentary rock are made up of fragments of rock that are cemented together. Sedimentary rock are usually formed from particles of other rocks that are broken down. So these clastic sedimentary rock are particles of other rocks. When they come together and get pressed or compressed and cemented, they form a new rock known as clastic sedimentary rock. They usually have layers. Example: conglomerate, breccia, shale, sandstone. These are some of the examples of clastic sedimentary rock. While organic sedimentary rock are formed from dead animals and plants known as fossils. They form from dead animals and plants. For example, from an animal remain, as sand and stone and silt get laid upon them, they press together with the fossil in them to form a new rock. And as they are deposited, they form new layers. That is why sedimentary rocks usually have layers. The next is the chemical sedimentary rock. These are formed from solution of dissolved minerals and water. So when the water that dissolve the mineral becomes evaporated, it leaves the minerals which glue together, thereby forming a rock known or a type of rock known as chemical sedimentary rock. So the characteristics of sedimentary rock is that they contain fossils, they form layers, and they are usually formed under water. Examples are shale, shelly limestone, chalk, sandstone, anthracite, and so on. So that's all for this lesson. See you in the next class.